This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Time right now is 4:27 here. We finally made it to Friday. Thanks for starting your day with us here on Good Morning Indiana. I'm Lauren Casey.
And I'm Meredith Barrick. It is a new year, so a lot of times when it's a new year, people are looking for new ways to better their health or lose a little weight. You know, we all put on a few pounds around the holidays. So we not only are working for you here at RTV6, we're working for a better you. And we're going to tell you 6 things you should know about macros. This is counting how many fats, proteins, and carbs you need in a day. This will not only aid in weight loss, but muscle gain. So we're going to break down all that information to you if you're someone who maybe is looking for something new in this new year to kind of ramp up your health and fitness.
Yes, we'll have that story coming up here later this morning. Another thing we want to talk about is the weather. So Todd, we're going to bring in right now because we know we have a lot coming later today, right?
Yeah, it's all this evening. So you get to work fine, you get home from work fine, then just kind of like hunker down a little bit maybe this evening as the wintry mix starts to move in. There's a winter weather advisory that's in place basically from the tier of counties just south of I-70 and points to the north. It does not include Bloomington, although I do think you'll see a little bit of a wintry mix. But first things first, as you walk out the door this morning, it is cold. Temperatures in the 20s. In fact, we're right at 20 degrees in Kokomo, 22 in Indianapolis. But radar, as you see in the center of screen, is completely quiet. So once again, a winter weather advisory will go into effect for some areas starting at 7 p.m. tonight, but we're dry during the daytime hours. That wintry mix arrives with just some minor accumulation, but it could be enough to cause some issues if you're going to be out and about tonight with a high temperature of 33 degrees.
All right, Todd.
Thank you.
We'll pay attention to the weather tonight. It's another story we are following for you today. This one's out of Johnson County. It's a good story as we head into Friday.
Our Rafael Sanchez met a couple who saw a need in the community. A number of kids didn't have bikes. I mean, it seems to many of us to be a rite of passage to have a bicycle, but for many kids, it's something that they've never had the opportunity. So they are fixing up dozens of bikes. They started a charity, and it has helped dozens of kids in the community.
Yes, we'll tell you a little bit more about Pedals of Joy coming up this morning. Something else we have for you today is a little sneak preview of the Indianapolis Home Show.
Yeah, a lot of people this time of year starting to think of ideas for the spring and summer, how maybe they want to spruce up the outdoors or maybe renovate something inside their house. Well, this is the place to be for you if you are looking to do anything to your home. Maybe you're just looking to add a hot tub to the backyard. Either way, this is the best place. Our Kelsey Anderson will be live showing you the latest and greatest in home design and decor and all that fun stuff. We'll have that story plus news, weather, and traffic to kick off your Friday right here on Good Morning Indiana.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now at 4:30, a 13-year-old is recovering after complications from the flu that almost turned deadly. What health officials recommend as the virus continues to spread.
And a new plan is in the works to protect some of the most vulnerable citizens from domestic violence. The new steps city leaders are taking to make that happen.
And a beloved restaurant is working to get things up and running again after the business caught fire. What the owners of Country Kitchen are doing to help out their employees while repairs are underway. 4:30 on your Friday morning. We made it to the end of the week. I'm Meredith Barrick.
And I'm Lauren Casey. And of course, we got to check in with our forecast with Todd Clausen because it may change up your evening plans, your late evening plans.
Yeah, you know, your evening plans and then your plans tomorrow as well. Second Saturday in a row, we're going to be dealing with quite a bit of rainfall. It's a pretty big storm system, and that is heading our way. Thankfully, for the most part, we're going to be on the warm side of things. We'll kind of dive into that in main weather in just a minute or two. Storm Team 6 radar is completely quiet this morning. No visibility issues, no precipitation. Your commute to work should be just fine this morning, although we are dealing with the clouds already starting to increase across the area. Although it's kind of a thin veil of clouds, I could still see the moon through the cloud deck on my drive into work this morning. But off to our west, here is where we find our storm system. If you are traveling to the west today, you're going to run into a lot of issues pretty quickly once you get into Illinois. At the center of the storm's heading towards Chicago. We'll start off with a wintry mix later on this evening, but then we'll transition to all rain during the overnight hours. But look at these temperatures, 19 in Crawfordsville as well as Richmond. pair of twos in Indianapolis down to Bloomington, 20 in Peru, and they'll probably go down another couple degrees this morning before they start to climb. So throughout the day today, you just really need to bundle up. You don't have to worry about any precipitation for your lunch hour or your drive home. Just lots of clouds around. Once we get to about 7, 8 o'clock, that's when the issues start. We'll talk more about that coming up in Maine weather in just a few minutes. But at 4:32, let's get a first look at traffic on this Friday morning.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Here's a live look in the downtown area. No problems here at I-65 and I-70 at the North Split. Traffic is moving along up to speed, as you can see. So let's take a turn right now to the north side, 465 and Keystone Avenue. You can see traffic there is traveling smoothly. A lot of headlights out there actually at this early hour. We'll continue to keep a very close eye on your roads throughout the morning.
New overnight, Metro Police are investigating a homicide on the city's west side. Officers were called for a person down near 23rd and Groff Avenue around 1:30 this morning. When officers arrived, they found a man dead on the sidewalk near Centennial Park. Police say they have very little information on what may have led up to the man's death. If you have any information, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers. And one man is in custody after a police chase ended in a crash on Indy's south side. This all happened around 11:20 last night. Officers say a narcotics investigation led to the pursuit. The SUV fled down multiple alleys before hitting a minivan on Hervey Street near Raymond and Shelby Street. No one was seriously hurt.
It is 4:33. A man has been found guilty in a murder case police say was the result of a love triangle. A Marion County jury found Dominique Johnson guilty of the murder in 2018 and the death of Antoine Walton. Johnson allegedly tracked Walton down in a parking lot on the northwest side at an apartment complex parking lot and shot him in the head. A friend of Walton also shot and wounded Johnson. Investigators later learned that the shooting stemmed from a love triangle involving Johnson and Walton. Johnson is scheduled to be sentenced on March 5th.
This morning, we're sharing a reminder that the flu can be dangerous no matter your age. This is 13-year-old Josh Roy. He's still recovering at Riley Hospital for Children after the flu turned into almost deadly complications. He was flown to the hospital in October and was on life support for 54 days. The flu brought on complications like septic shock and hypoxia. On Thursday, Josh got to reunite with the IU Health Lifeline crew that played a big part in saving his life. Because of stories like this, Indiana health officials continue to warn people the flu is still spreading and it is not too late to get your flu shot.
These younger kids, what we think are normally really healthy, they can have a souped up response and get really sick like this. But across the board, anybody needs to be aware and obviously get the flu shot. And even if it doesn't prevent the illness overall, it'll lessen the symptoms.
Once Josh is released from the hospital next week, he will have spent 100 days there. You can get flu shots from your primary care doctor or at urgent care clinics for little to no cost.
At 4:34, leaders say more needs to be done to protect Black and African American women and people in the LGBTQ community from domestic violence. The Domestic Violence Network is taking steps to help make that happen. A 3-year equity plan calls for safe spaces for survivors and increased education and prevention programs. Those programs are being formed under the direction of people in those at-risk communities like Latana Queen Zachary, a domestic violence survivor.
Needs to be getting out in the communities, getting out, being involved in events that involve these category of people as well, letting them know, really what's available for them to take advantage of.
Indianapolis is involved in this plan. The city's director of community violence reduction says some work is already underway.
The commissioner of the Indiana High School Athletic Association is stepping down. Bobby Cox, who has led the organization since 2011, announced he'll retire August 1st. He has had many accomplishments during his time, including forming a partnership with the Special Olympics and finalizing state tournament sponsorship deals with the Indiana Pacers and Fever. The IHSAA Executive Committee will now be in charge of finding a successor.
The push continues to pass a law in Indiana that would allow undocumented immigrants to legally drive. Supporters held a rally outside the State House in favor of the bill. We told you about this proposal on Monday. It's a deeply personal issue for organizer Christine Lopez Silvar. She remembers her parents' fear of driving as undocumented immigrants when she was a young child.
I remember when I was little, my mom would always tell me that it was crucial for me to not miss the school bus. And it's something that like most parents tell their kids, don't miss the school bus. But the fact that my mom didn't have a driver's license, it was important for me to take the school bus to school because she did not want to risk herself driving in the city that I grew up in.
Well, the proposal would not allow a person to vote or provide a pathway to citizenship. Supporters are calling on the chair of the House Roads and Transportation Committee to schedule a hearing for that bill.
Today, Governor Eric Holcomb and executives from Toyota will make an announcement about economic development. They're set to speak at the Toyota Experience Center in Princeton. The plant is one of only 4 Toyota assembly facilities in the U.S. Look for updates throughout the day here on RTV6 and online at theindychannel.com. A fundraiser for a beloved Indianapolis restaurant that caught fire over the weekend will be held next week. Country Kitchen is teaming up with Radio 1 for a donation drive to benefit employees of the business. The owners say they want to make sure workers have support while the restaurant is shut down. The fundraiser is from noon to 5 p.m. Tuesday at Country Kitchen at 1831 North College Avenue. You can drive by and make a cash donation. You can also donate through a GoFundMe or KeyBank account.
The city of Carmel has officially brought back their heated igloos just in time for the cold this weekend. The 6 little structures are set up around the center green and are fully furnished. They come complete with comfy couches, chairs, and rugs. The igloos are also close to the ice skating rink and multiple on-site vendors. They are free to use and open to all on a first-come, first-served basis.
Senators are now sworn in as the impeachment trial proceedings begin. Coming up, the next steps in the process and the new allegations being made against the president.
And the man accused of stabbing multiple people at a Hanukkah celebration is back in court. Still ahead, what the judge is requesting that suspect do as this case moves forward. Todd.
And it's dry for now across central Indiana, but it is the Storm Team 6 alert day because the storm system you see off to our west, well, that is going to head in our direction throughout the course of the day. With it, some freezing rain, some sleet, and some snow. We'll time it all out for you coming up in your Storm Team 6 forecast. The time now is 4:38. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
It is 4:41. Here is a live look right now at traffic at I-465 and San Jones Expressway to our west. Traffic already picking up, as you can see, both northbound and southbound on the interstate at this early hour. We'll continue to keep a close eye out for any crashes or delays.
For only the 3rd time in history, a presidential impeachment trial has been opened by the Senate. This as new allegations are made against President Trump. Critics saying new information proves that the president has been caught lying about a pressure campaign against Ukraine. ABC's Karina Mitchell is in New York with the latest.
Pretrial proceedings are underway after an historic day. Chief Justice John Roberts taking the oath to oversee the trial against President Trump, swearing in the senators.
So help you God.
Lead manager Adam Schiff formally presenting the 2 articles of impeachment.
Impeaching Donald John Trump, President of the United States, for high crimes and misdemeanors.
Democrats trying to make the case that the president pressured Ukraine into investigating political rival Joe Biden.
That was the most important thing, is for him to stay on for another 4 years and keep the fight going.
Overnight, Lev Parnas, the indicted former associate of Mr. Trump's personal attorney Rudy Giuliani, telling CNN's Anderson Cooper,
it was all about 2020. There was no other reason for doing it.
A claim the president denies.
Don't know where he comes from, know nothing about him. I can only tell you this thing is a big hoax.
Parnas denies those claims, saying he'd be willing to testify. Meantime, the Government Accountability Office, a nonpartisan watchdog group, says the Trump administration broke the law in withholding aid to Ukraine. The White House denies the claim. At least one Republican, Senator Susan Collins from Maine, says she's likely to want to hear further witness testimony, but adds she'll hold off on making a final decision until opening arguments are presented. Karina Mitchell, ABC News, New York.
At 4:43, a revised trade agreement between the United States, Mexico, and Canada is now on its way to President Trump's desk. The deal, called USMCA, passed the Senate with overwhelming favor on Thursday. The new deal was created to rename and revise the current North American Free Trade Agreement that was made back in 1994. It aims to benefit dairy farmers and support auto manufacturing in North America. It also includes updates for digital trade and copyright rules. After President Trump signs the deal, it will only need Canada's approval to go into effect.
The man accused in a stabbing attack at a Hanukkah party last month is being ordered to undergo a psychiatric evaluation. A judge ordered Grafton Thomas to be evaluated in his court appearance Thursday. There, Thomas also pled not guilty to 10 state charges, including 6 counts of attempted murder. He's accused of injuring at least 5 people during a knife attack at a rabbi's home during a Hanukkah celebration. Thomas is due back in court February 18th.
At 4:44, this was the scene after a truck hit a Starbucks near Chicago, injuring 5 people. Police say the pickup truck ran off the road, hit another vehicle, and then crashed into the Starbucks Thursday afternoon. The impact caused the building to collapse. The driver was pinned inside the truck and a barista was trapped underneath. Both were taken to the hospital in critical condition. The vehicle has not been removed from that building because officials are afraid that entire building could collapse. Authorities are still trying to figure out what caused the truck to leave the road in the first place.
The Center for Disease Control and Prevention says there have been more than 66 more vaping-related lung injury cases over the last week. In the CDC's latest report, a total of 60 people have died and more than 2,600 cases have been reported. The CDC says there are other deaths that are also still under investigation. The cause is still unknown, but the investigation is focusing in on THC products. The CDC says 80% of the patients use THC products and mostly bought them from friends or online dealers. Here at 4:45 on your Friday morning, you're not going to like what Todd's got in store for today.
No, it's a Storm Team 6 alert day, and we're in alert mode, not so much for the daytime hours today. It's really tonight after 7 o'clock that we start to run into some issues, and that issue is going to be a wintry mix making its way into the area, which is going to obviously lead to some slippery conditions, and then temperatures actually warm, so it goes over to all rain, and we're going to see quite a bit of rainfall throughout the day tomorrow. So it's a little bit of a 1-2 punch, a little unique in the sense normally we cool off at night, but actually temperatures are going to climb overnight tonight, changing that wintry mix over to rain. But boy, it's cold this morning. 19 right now in Crawfordsville as well as Richmond. 22 is the current temperature in Indianapolis as well as Bloomington. Radar is completely quiet this morning. That's the way it stays throughout much of the day today. The clouds are in place this morning, and here's our storm system off to our west, and you notice it's a whole mixed bag of snow, freezing rain and sleet, and then just plain old rain. The center of the storm, it's heading towards Chicago, so that's going to keep us on the warm side of things, but this initial band of precipitation that comes in is going to be the one that's eventually going to bring us that wintry mix. So this morning we're dealing with cloudy skies. Temperatures will be in the mid-20s, warming to right around 30 degrees as we head into the 1-2 o'clock hour, and then we stay right around freezing throughout much of the afternoon, still dry through 5 p.m. And then once we get to 7 o'clock, that's when the winter weather advisory is going to go into effect. So Bloomington, Columbus, Greensburg, you are not under the advisory. You still could see a little bit of mixed precipitation. It's really the counties that you see in purple that are going to run into the biggest issues later on tonight. So temperatures will be hovering right around the freezing mark. So it's going to be a fine line. So that's why we're going to be dealing with a wintry mix. Some of it will be freezing rain. For those of you to the north, it's probably a little more in the way of snow. And then it ramps up as we go into the course of the evening hours. So here is how it plans out on TrueCast for you. The initial snow starts in western locations around 6 o'clock, and then eventually it overspreads more of central Indiana by the time we get to 8, 9 o'clock this evening. Lifts to the north during the overnight hours, 12:30 Saturday, still a combo of rain, sleet, and snow, but you notice the rain taking over throughout the overnight hours. The timing is pretty good, right? Because you'll be in bed, or most of you will be in bed as we go into the evening hours tonight, sleeping overnight, and when you wake up, just watch those first few steps tomorrow, especially in northern locations, for a little bit of ice out there. But temperatures surge to near 50 degrees tomorrow, so throughout the afternoon hours, we're dealing with all rain across the area. As far as snow accumulation, could be about an inch from Crawfordsville up towards Logan's Point and points to the north. Most of the area, though, just dealing with a couple tenths of an inch of snow. That's not really a big deal for us, but this could cause some issues. Ice accumulation, it's not a lot. It's not enough ice to bring down power lines, bring down trees or anything like that, but it is enough to potentially slicken up the roadways just a little bit. Once that storm goes through, it unlocks some very, very cold air for us. Highs only in the 20s Sunday and Monday.
All right. right, Todd, thanks so much. Here is a live look right now at traffic. This is over on the east side, I-70 and Sherman Drive. You can see traffic in this area is moving along up to speed. No issues to slow you down. So let's take a look and plan out your commute from our INDOT maps here, our traffic maps. You can see southbound I-65. It's a 17-minute drive. I-865 to I-70 at the north split. No issues. So let's take you out live in this area. I-65 at I-865. You can see lots of headlights, but again, everything's traveling up to speed.
A woman is making sports history with the San Francisco Giants. Alyssa Nakin is the first female full-time assistant coach in Major League Baseball. She's a former softball star and was just added to the Giants staff yesterday. Giants manager Gabe Kapler says she will help develop a winning atmosphere within the clubhouse. Nakin was a three-time all-conference first baseman at Sacramento State and joined the Giants as an intern in 2014. She most recently was in charge of the organization's health and wellness initiatives.
It's $4.49. JetBlue is raising its prices on checked baggage again. The cost for the first bag is going up from $30 to $35. The second will now cost you $45 instead of $40. This is the second time in 2 years the airline has upped the price for checked bags. The new prices will apply to customers who book travel from now on. If you booked before Thursday, you get the old prices. You can get a $5 discount on your checked bag if you check it online or through its app at least 24 hours before that flight.
Coca-Cola is coming out with new Powerade options. The sports drink brand is redesigning its packaging and also launching 2 new low-calorie and sugar-free products. They're called Powerade Ultra and Powerade Power Water. The Ultra is for people who want to build strength, and it contains creatine, which helps muscle energy. The water is enhanced with electrolytes and comes in berry cherry, tropical mango, and cucumber lime flavors. Coca-Cola says they hope the change will appeal to a broader range of people.
A candy company is going all out to secure a Guinness World Record. After the break, what it took to create this giant Snickers bar.
And a woman details the shocking moments that played out downtown. New at 5, why she's warning other dog owners about safety. But first,
I'm Vinny Politan. Coming up today on Court TV, jury selection winding down in the Harvey Weinstein rape trial. Will be live from our New York studios as Weinstein and his defense team look for 12 fair and impartial jurors to sit in judgment of him. Opening statements could come as early as Wednesday of next week. Also in Pensacola, Florida, jury selection continuing the death penalty trial of this man accused of murdering his mother and his 2 half-brothers. That's coming up today on Court TV.
And don't forget, you can watch all new Court TV live right on your mobile device by visiting CourtTV.com. It is 4:51. We'll be right back.
IndyChannel.com.
Welcome back. It's 4:55. Here's a live look right now at I-65 and West Street and MLK. You can see traffic here is pretty quiet this morning. We'll continue to keep a close eye on your roads and let you know if you need to reroute at all this Friday.
The saying that everything is bigger in Texas is now even more true, and it's all thanks to candy. A plant in Waco unveiled the biggest Snickers bar in the world. Snickers partnered with the Guinness Book of World Records to unveil the largest chocolate nut bar ever created. It was made at the Mars Wrigley Associates plant in Waco. The bar weighs more than 4,000 pounds and is made up of 43,000 single-size Snicker bars. The plant first had the idea about 2 weeks ago, and it took them only a week to make. That looks so good. The giant chocolate bar will be officially recognized and recorded by the Guinness World Records. Oh, wow.
I could go for a little slice of that.
Oh, just a nibble.
Yes.
That's all I need.
All right, football fans are on pins and needles waiting to find out which teams will make it to the Super Bowl. And some have already booked flights to Miami with the hopes that their team will be there. But for those who won't get so lucky, Heinz says all hope is not lost for their plane ticket. The company is offering a chance to win 57-cent change fees to reroute a Miami-bound flight to the destination of your choice, just in case. The contest starts Monday. To enter, visit Heinz57flightchange.com. Well, Colts fans don't have to worry about that because I don't think we had any plans of going to the Super Bowl.
Or you can just go and enjoy the warmth and the sunshine.
That's true. It wouldn't be the worst place to go.
I would take a trip to Miami regardless who is in the Super Bowl right now.
Be like, I don't even need to go to the game.
Right? Yeah, absolutely. It's quiet during the daytime hours today, so that's good news for your commute both this morning and later on this afternoon. Highs will get up to right around freezing. It's this evening that we run into issues as a wintry mix will develop after 7 p.m. tonight. That's when the winter weather advisory goes into into effect. We're not going to see a lot in the way of accumulation of either snow or ice, but it will be enough to cause some slick spots if you're out late tonight. It's all rain tomorrow, and then very, very cold temperatures for Sunday and Monday. The time now is 4:57. Stay with us. We'll be right back.